if you only ride a bike easy, you will never feel how it feels if you really go deep and you really have to push hard. I think you feel different and you will appreciate the climb. If the climb is really hard, you appreciate being on the top. And you appreciate maybe the descent going a bit faster. So I wish everyone a bit of challenge. One of the best things happened in my life that I lost my job because it really pushed me into the move to open my business and work full-time in my own bike shop. It's okay, we're going to a country where there's no cycling, and how will people cycle? It's so hot and all the sand, and even the traditional clothes doesn't really lend itself for cycling, and nobody's doing it. And I think I learned my lesson very quickly that I think most of the things they said were right, and it wasn't really as easy, and it was difficult to do. Cycling taught me so much about life and about being persistent and just fighting through and just going to the next corner and then again to the next corner. And even if you're on a long climb, eventually you will make it. And I think this persistence of keeping the business going and being in the business every day and fighting for every sale and trying to really make every customer happy.
There was somewhere you mentioned that the journey in the beginning was very challenging, and you wanted money, you wanted loan, and the banks refused to give you loans, and then you had to manage yourself. Yes. What did you do? How did you manage?
Some months were there where it was really, really tough, and we hardly did not know how to eat and how to finance school fees and everything like this. It's actually quite emotional when you think back of these days.
Did you ever think of going back at that time?
We had a time when it was really difficult, and I think every time you make the decision to try one more time, one more rep, one more revolution on the bike, and one more corner on the climb, and one more business decision, one more business day, I think it establishes a connection in your brain.
What's the secret of having such a loyal team members and retaining the teams? You recently sold a substantial part of Wolfi's bike shop. Did you always have an exit strategy? How has this exit changed your life? Mm-hmm. When was the time you felt like I made it? When was that moment that happened? You felt, yes, I've
It's
done
interesting. I actually thought about this many times.
Welcome to The Forward Thinking People, a podcast about the dreamers, the go-getters, and the leaders who never gave up. I'm your host, Namita Ramani. Today, we have an extraordinary guest with us, Wolfgang Hohmann, affectionately known as Wolfi, the visionary behind the Wolfi's bike shop. Born in a small town in the Black Forest area of Germany, Wolfi's journey from a chef to a leading entrepreneur in the cycling world is nothing short of inspiring. Wolfi's passion for cycling began early. At 17, he saved up money to buy a car, but ended up buying a bike instead, a decision that would set the course for his future. His entrepreneurial spirit shone through even while he was working as a chef, selling bikes on the side through his brother's car repair shop. Supported by his wife Gabby, throughout his journey, he demonstrated the importance of resilience and partnership in achieving one's dreams. In the early years of 2000, while visiting his brother in Dubai, Wolfi saw the potential in the city despite its harsh weather and lack of cycling infrastructure. He took a bold leap and decided to move to Dubai in 2002, opening the first Wolfi's bike shop on Sheikh Zayed Road, and thus laying the foundation for what would become the cornerstone for UAE's cycling community. Over the years, Wolfi's bike shop has expanded into multiple locations in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Al Ain. Celebrating 22 successful years in the UAE in 2024, Wolfi's bike shop has become the ultimate destination for cyclists, offering not just bikes, but a holistic high-performance center with fitness testing, coaching, nutrition plans, physiotherapy, and bike fitting services. Wolfi's relentless dedication has transformed the perception of cycling in UAE. His ability to see things differently for beginners' perspective ensures continuous improvement and a welcoming environment for all cyclists. With a team of over 140 members across various locations, Wolfi's has built a culture of responsible selling and exceptional customer service. Wolfi's journey is also marked by his recent decision to sell a substantial part of the shares of Wolfi's bike shop. This strategic move, reflecting his forward-thinking mindset, has opened new chapters in his life while continuing to influence the business he built. Let's explore Wolfi's incredible journey, the challenges he faced, and how he has become a lasting impact on cycling community in the UAE. Welcome, Mr. Wolfi.
Thank you so much.
It is such a pleasure.
It sounds amazing. Thank you for all these
you
kind
have achieved
words.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's good to listen to it sometimes. Once in a while, I think it's good to stop and
reflect.
And see what has become. And I think you are a big advocate for the Wolfi story. Yeah, we how long are you cycling now?
I think 8 years.
8 years. Yeah, and how far you have come. Now holidays are planned and everything like this. So I think this is the beauty of our work, that we impact so many people and we really change their life in a very positive manner. And that's the motivation to come to work every day. So thank you for having me on the podcast.
Pleasure. So, Mr. Wolfi, I would like to start from the beginning. You are a trained chef.
Yes.
Did you dream of becoming a chef? Like, you studied?
I didn't really know when you were like 15, 16 and you come from school, and my brother was working as a chef. And so I started, actually, my first apprenticeship was in a hotel in Germany, a sports hotel, and we call it Hotel Fachmann, meaning you know everything what happens in a hotel, means reception, housekeeping, as well guest program to activate guests. And during this time, I started with my journey to bring bikes to the hotel. We rented them to guests, and then they eventually decided to buy the bikes and take them home. And then I make my second apprenticeship was as a chef. And while I was doing this, I always had my business on the side in order to make some extra income. And then I fell in love with what happens when people using bikes. And I think it really changes their life in a very positive manner. And so this was always something I did by the side. And I went to the army. I worked in a hospital because I was interested in dietary kitchen, and I wanted to learn more. And as well, the working hours were quite comfortable for me. I could start very early morning, like at 5 o'clock. I could start in the hospital to do early shift, and then I was finished at work at 2. By 2:30, I opened my bike shop, and then I was working till the evening. In the evening, I had another job to work in a sports club, in a gym, making the drinks and checking the membership cards and acquiring customers. So it was always a good mix of working there. And then while I was working in the hospital, I kind of lost my job because I think there was a reform for the healthcare system in Germany, and they looked who they could lay off responsibly and social responsible. So I wasn't married at the time. I had my own business. I was well trained. I worked in some good restaurants, so I had a good education. So they said, okay, you're the only one we can let go. And but that was really one of the best things happened in my life, that I lost my job, because it really pushed me into the move to open my business and work full-time in my own bike shop. And so it started. But at the beginning, it was me and my wife. And then we had one mechanic. It worked. I worked as well with my brother in the car repair shop, and the business was growing year by year. And we really were successful in the Black Forest. It's a beautiful area. You should visit one day to go with your bicycle. It's really beautiful to ride your bike, your road bike, your mountain bike. A lot of professional cyclists live there. We have a great sports university. And I think the success was because I had this hospitality mindset, which I learned over my years in the hospitality. And I think combining the hospitality and customer focus with bicycles, I think that was something unique. And that was really, I think, looking back, that was one of the core recipes of the success we had.
Entrepreneurship is in the business, like in the family? Are
Yes.
there any other entrepreneurs apart from you in the family?
Yes. My two brothers. I have two brothers now here in Dubai. First there was one, then it was myself, then another brother joined us. My oldest brother had a car repair place. So I think all of us are self-employed, which I think is a bit of a spirit. Our parents were self-employed, and that was a driving force. And I was the youngest of 3 brothers, and then we had 2 more siblings after me later on. But it was always inspirational for me to see how they were doing, and I was striving. And if you have 3 older brothers, you learn how to hold your place and match up, and it was good. Yeah, and it was a good learning. And then 2002, or around 2000, we were visiting my brother here in Dubai, and he had a business, and we were seeing that Dubai was an upcoming place. And then 2002 in August, we decided to pack a container, ship it, and a few days later, I jumped on a plane. Came here and unpacked the container on Sheikh Zayed Road, which is still the existing store on Sheikh Zayed Road, and started to start my journey. But it was quite difficult, and at the beginning, I couldn't really understand people on the phone. Phone lines weren't as good, and when people came in, so I had just a few words of school English in Germany, so it was quite challenging to make the business. And it's all new, and customs, all these things that you had to pay. Rent in advance, school fees in advance, rent for your private house in advance. So my financial planning was built on month by month basis, and it was quite challenging to do the first couple of years as a business.
How did you decide, like when you came to Dubai to visit your brother, there was barely any cycling infrastructure. It was back in the days, opening a business was also different. Like now you can open a business without a local partner. Back then you need a local partner. So how did the decision just happen? Like choosing a city, you were very comfortable in Germany, right? In the Black Forest, you had a thriving business, you were doing well, suddenly packing everything and moving. What did you think when you decided to do that?
I think sometimes in life you come to a milestone, and I was around my 30th birthday, and I thought, okay, is this it? And you look back and you think, okay, you have achieved something, and you're there now, but then you think you have another 30 years to go or more working life. And then I spoke to my wife and said, okay, I think if we want to do it, our daughter was just 4, and we thought, okay, should we do that? And I convinced her to say we're going to have evenings on the beach, we're going to sit there in the sunset and go swimming. It's not really. I have to apologize. Sorry, Gavi. It didn't happen. But when we said, okay, you know what, we're going to try, and we had my brother here, and we said, okay, let's do this. And obviously, my parents were a bit concerned. Gavi's parents were a bit concerned. So, okay, we're going to a country where there's no cycling, and how will people cycle? It's so hot, and all the sand, and even the traditional clothes doesn't really lend itself for cycling, and nobody's doing it. And I think I learned my lesson very quickly, that I think most of the things they said were right, and it wasn't really as easy, and it was difficult to do. But when it's like cycling, I think you get stronger when you have a bit of a headwind and a bit of a climb.
Yeah.
This is different. And cycling has obviously been very important as it is our business, but as well, cycling taught me so much about life and about being persistent and just fighting through and just going to the next corner. And then again to the next corner, and even if you're on a long climb, eventually you will make it. And I think this persistence of keeping the business going and being in the business every day and fighting for every sale and trying to really make every customer happy. I think that's as well something from growing up in my family. It was always about pleasing people around me and trying to be nice to people and try to help them. Really, from the bottom of our heart, it's really about trying to get somebody into the sport and introduce something to them, which is really a true passion and love for myself and for my staff. And I think we're really blessed. I said actually when we had the 20th anniversary, looking back, I thought, okay, is there another job which is as fulfilling and as giving as our own job of having a bicycle shop? When we think we start with kids, we start very, very early to introduce them to sport, and we're dealing with people who are in their 60s and 70s. We are building communities. We're environmental friendly. We're helping the country to get healthier. And I think there's not many jobs, and I haven't actually found a job. So if anyone has an idea, maybe post in the comments in the podcast if you have any other job which is as fulfilling and ticks as many boxes as a bike shop does. So we're very happy, and I'm very happy every day to go to work and help people. And you're the best candidate.
One of your, I got into cycling thanks to you.
Yes.
You mentioned about a few challenges. Like I remember you saying when I was, researching about the questions I wanted to ask you, there was somewhere you mentioned that the journey in the beginning was very challenging, and you wanted money, you wanted loan, and the banks refused to give you loans. And then you had to manage yourself. Yes. What did you do? How did you manage?
I know, you learn to plan much better. And yes, I went to the banks, and I remember, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say Emirates MBD, who are now a good customer now with Emirates MBD. But yeah, I'm happy that they didn't, because I think it would have guided us in a different way. I think we would have been more aggressive and invest more. But I remember that I asked for a small amount, maybe 100,000 dirhams for a container on the way. But then they looked obviously at our business. We didn't have any audited books and all of this. So it was a really almost a bit of a shady business we had there, because we had nothing to prove and nothing to show. And then I think that time as well, Dubai was growing so quickly. So I think if we had asked for 100 million to build a skyscraper, we would have gotten it. But for 100,000, the amount was just not big enough. And so we worked a little harder, and we sold a few more bikes until we had the money together, because for us it was always important to have the funds, then pay our suppliers, then they would start packing the goods, then they would put it on a ship, the ship would sail. It would maybe be 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks until clearance is done. So it was a long period of time where we needed to wait until goods arrived, and we needed to pre-finance all of this, because at the beginning, and even up to this day, nobody would give us credit, and nobody would do that. And I was lucky that we never really were relying on banks, and we always were self-financed for all the 22 years.
There was a time you mentioned that you were actually thinking of taking our daughter from the school as well. That's how.
Yes. how tight
tough
it was.
it went.
Yes. Because we were not planning that you have to pay everything up front. And everybody who has kids in schools, you know how expensive schools can be. And some months were there where it was really, really tough. And we hardly did not know how to eat and how to finance school fees and everything like this. And then my wife said, yeah, I think what she learns in school, I think we can do this at home, and I will look after her. And I said, no, it's actually quite emotional when you think back of these days. And but it really makes you appreciate when life gets better and you feel that you have made it to a certain point. I think it really makes you appreciate what you have much better. And I almost wish for everyone to go through some tough times, because I think you will appreciate the other side better. There's yin and yang. I think there's light and day. And I think it's done like that. And I think you need to, same on the bike, if you only ride a bike easy, you will never feel how it feels if you really go deep and you really have to push hard. I think you feel different, and you will appreciate the climb. If the climb is really hard, you appreciate being on the top. And you appreciate maybe the descent going a bit faster. So I wish everyone a bit of challenge.
Did you ever think of going back at that time?
Yeah, there was a time when before the bubble kind of and the real estate and investment bubble burst.
Yeah.
We had a time when it was really difficult, and the real estate market was on its peak, and people were investing a lot, and we could see a lot of money from outside almost came into the city, and it was very difficult for the people living here and making a living, that it was difficult to afford the rent for our showroom on Checkside Road. It was just going higher and higher and higher, and it was a time where we got informed that we're not going to have our showroom for the next season, and it was really difficult. And I think the crisis kind of saved us, that we could keep the showroom, and we didn't look for another opportunity in another place. But yeah, there were times where it was tough, but I never really wanted to give up. And I always thought, okay, let's try tomorrow, and let's try one more day. And I think every time you make this decision in life or on the bike or in the gym or wherever you do sports, I think every time you make that decision to try one more time, one more rep, one more revolution on the bike, and one more corner on the climb, and one more business decision, one more business day, I think it establishes a connection in your brain. And it shows you, yes, I can do that.
It gives you alternatives and options to think,
yes,
to make it happen.
Yes, and you know you can make it happen, because you made it happen yesterday. And what's different from yesterday to today? You just try one more day, and it was a good day, or maybe not a good day, but maybe tomorrow will be a better day. And I think you become just so comfortable about the situation as well, that you just push for one more day. And I would, again, if you're in a state where I think you sometimes you need to just push one more day and just stay on it. Keep going. You don't know. Yeah, I heard yesterday. I saw something when you feel you getting buried, and it's all getting dark around you. Maybe you're just getting planted. Yeah, and maybe you're just there to grow. And I know it's tough sometimes, but I think it's part of the journey. I think you need to go through it.
It's important to have the hardships to be able to see the brighter.
Absolutely, and I think we're not doing. I think our young generation, we're not doing them a favor by removing hardship. I think as parents and as employees and trying to make it easier for our staff and all of this, and trying to reduce all of this, it's not helpful. It's not helpful for our brain. I think we need this to feel comfortable. And I think there is something where you work hard and you're happier. If you don't work hard, I think if your life has this flat line, I think it's very difficult to feel an achievement. And sense of achievement and progress is something where we derive a lot of happiness from. And I think if we don't have that, and we're not getting challenged, I think it's not a life worth living.
In fact, during financial crisis, you saw your best growth. The business grew tremendously during that time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this was as well a time where people were looking to do some sports and maybe smaller investments to help them to get better in life.
This is in 2008 and 2010 crisis we are talking about.
Correct. Yeah. And I think this was the time where people as well kind of investing in themselves and were looking for things. And then obviously the government invested into cycle tracks. I think this is when the sport was kind of recognized for the first time. We had a very, very good relations to the sports councils, to Dubai Sports Council, and they really were tremendous to help us. And then obviously the royal family of Abu Dhabi and Dubai too saw the vision, and the leadership was always supportive. And I think they can, to the day, they see a benefit in sports. And obviously the vice leadership has done so many things to create facilities, the cycle tracks, 30-30, all of these events all around the region in Abu Dhabi, run and ride. And we see thousands and thousands of people, which led us to another business decision that we bought a company, Gulf Multisports, which is an event company. So we invested and bought 100% of the company to support people in events. So we're facilitating events like Abu Dhabi Marathon. We are facilitating company. The Yas Triathlon is one of our events. We help with the facilitation of Dubai 92, the T100 Triathlon, which is coming to Dubai in the next couple of weeks. So we're quite active on it. And another project we have going at the moment is the Wolfi Cycling Academy, because we want to go to schools. And I feel this is the next point of if I want to leave a legacy behind, I think it starts with the children and introduce them to the sport, and they will bring it home. They will introduce it to their parents. And I think we're going to create a generation of young cyclists. And I think we will change the future. Even so, maybe while I'm not here anymore, but I think we will have a long-lasting impact by introducing this to the region.
You also had a vision of bringing UAE Tour. Back in the days, they used to see Tour de France, and you had a dream of having UAE Tour for our country.
I always thought, when Palm Jumeirah was constructed, I thought, how amazing would it be if you had a cyclist riding on the road and then a helicopter flying over it and then kind of moving away and getting an aerial shot of the palm. How amazing would this be? But unfortunately, obviously, Tour de France is in the middle of the summer, so it would be very, very challenging. But then the Dubai Sports Council had the amazing idea of promoting the UAE and the team UAE Emirates and everything with the UAE Tour, or with the Dubai Tour first, and then Abu Dhabi Tour followed. We had a beginning of the year and end of the year tour. Now it's fantastic to have the UAE Tour to present the country in such a beautiful country in a way. And I think you really get to appreciate the landscaping and the work has been done by all the people in creating Dubai, creating Abu Dhabi, and the beauty of the country you see best from the helicopters. Where do you have a better chance than flying for 3-4 hours for a week over the UAE and showing all this, and showing Hatta Mountains and showing the desert and Liwa Desert and Jebel Afid, Jebel Jais. I think I get every year when the UAE Tour is on Eurosport and all the other TV channels, I get so many calls from my friends and say, listen, it's such a beautiful place and it's so amazing how cycling has developed. And looking back, that we have now 3 professional teams out of the region, with the team UAE Emirates, with Bahrain Victorious and Al Ola from Saudi Arabia. So I think to the UAE and the Middle East and Bahrain and Saudi Arabia are really now on the focus for cycling. And I think if we look back, I think we can say that we had an impact on the region.
You also have the Wolfi's racing team.
Yes.
How does this help the business?
First of all, I think it's nice to get people together. And as well as for us a community project, again, to get people together, to show that you can push even further. A bit of an inspiration. We had a good group of people and we said, you know what, they wanted to race. And we said, okay, and why not? We had at the beginning, we had actually the first plan was, the first racing team we had was Wolfi's Contessas. This was a ladies' female racing team, which was maybe now, I would say maybe 10 years ago, where we got ladies together, and I thought it was quite nice and a good spirit. For me, it's more about the spirit. The racing is important, but for me, cycling has a wider spectrum because it's really the community. And I'm sure you have friends, and you made lots of friends over cycling and the connection you make during the sport, riding for hours and hours. And there's a certain mindset. In order to be a good cyclist and to be a respected cyclist, you need to put in the hard work. And then you know if somebody is cycling next to you and you know how he's riding, you know he's a certain mindset and he has a certain character. And I think that's nice how we can connect. And if you climb Jebel Jais or Jebel Afid, or you do a hard ride in Al Qudra or Medan, I think it's just a different level of connection, which we had as well with, luckily, to ride with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and with other leaders of the country. I had the pleasure to ride with them my bicycle, and it's a very special connection when you have ridden a bike with someone.
I agree. And once you're a cyclist and you have cycling friends, you lose all the other friends, because one, you only talk about cycling and how you have to wake up early and sleep on time and eat this and eat that and not eat this. So your friends kind of eventually become you just left with the cycling friends.
Yes.
So
you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I think it's nice. If there's people who are inspired and they really like to push and they like to inspire each other, I think that's a great community to be with. And I think Dubai or the UAE especially, I think we have we're surrounded by entrepreneurial-minded people anyway. You know, I mean, they're expats. They come from a country. They've already done a step. And I think that having people who are already going the next step of being sportive active and then being cyclists and really have the dedication to get up early and changing their life and putting it in a certain order and being disciplined about it, I think that's a good crowd to be around.
Yeah. How easy it is to get, or how do you get these amazing brands like Colnago, Factor, Scott work with you? Like, was it easy in the beginning to
No, it
get
wasn't.
them? What challenges did you face in acquiring these brands, like working with them and having their bikes?
Simply that when we went to trade shows, and I'm going soon now again to Eurobike, which is maybe the 30th year I'm visiting in a row. I simply didn't believe. And you know, I mean, looking back, I can't even blame them. And when I said, oh, I'm opening a bike shop, and I said, oh, where? And I said, I'm going to Dubai. And I said, okay, some people didn't know 23 years ago, where's Dubai? And I said, okay, but that's the desert where it's going to be hot and nobody's going to cycle ever.
They were right at that time.
And at the time, it wasn't, yeah. And some people said, okay, we believe in you and we know you from before. You've done your business and you have that vision. Some people were kind of smirking when I walked away from the booth. And again, I can't blame them. I think looking back, I think it was a bit of an interesting move to go here. But now I think it's people want to work with us. I think we're known as one of the best. We've been voted from independent authorities in the cycling scene to say, hey, this is maybe one of the best. We built something very special in Abu Dhabi on Hudaybiya Island. I think that's a sports island. And it's going to be in the next couple of years. There's so many things to come. An amazing cycle facility, a cycle track, a velodrome, a surf ranch is already on the island, a sports hotel. There's lots and lots of things to come. And I think it's going to be a very special place for endurance sports. And I think with the cycle tracks we have in the desert and Medan and all the other facilities, I think it's something very special what the UAE has achieved. And now everybody's looking completely different what is possible.
Yeah. In fact, with all this expansion, your team has grown into 140 members or more, maybe.
Yes.
Did managing teams or the skill come naturally to you, or you had to learn the skills?
You know what I'm missing is at the beginning when the team was like 10, 20, 30 people, it was easier to have a really personal connection with everyone and kind of feeling them a little bit better. And I think that's something I would say is missing now. And I'm struggling a bit because I can't have this relationship even with customers. It's not so easy when you run a business and you're expanding. But then I had to make a decision to say, okay, can I maintain it in Dubai and can I keep as it is, or will I expand and will I reach more people, and will I maybe have to scale down a little bit on my personal relationship with customers and have a personal relationship with my team, but maybe have other people and empower other people in order to build these personal relationships, which I had before with my team, and have different levels of leadership in my company, and not only have that. When we partnered with our partners in Abu Dhabi, our structure of Wolfi's was a very solid house with this very solid roof, and it was very difficult for people to grow. And I think when we opened up new branches and the partnership itself, I think it really opened up that roof. And I said we blew that roof away from our building, and really there were so many now different business units with a Wolfi Sport Trading, which is we have a general manager for this company. We have the retail general manager. We have the events and education company, the general manager. We have support functions and so on. So it was quite a challenge, but again, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think not that I got bored about the Wolfi's from 2020, because we were just striving 2020 and 2021 during COVID. We were helping so many people, and really it was a very, very impactful time for us to see how important cycling was for so many people during that time where you were kind of at home and you couldn't really go to the office. And I think then the cycling groups were very, very important. And sports in general became more important for many people. But now I think that new setup, I think it's quite exciting, and reaching out to Elaine, reaching out to Al Khonish of Yas Marina Circuit, and all these different places. I think we reach now more people than ever before. Yeah. And that's nice. And it's nice to see the impact we have not only on Dubai community as well now in Abu Dhabi and Elaine.
All over the UAE.
Yes.
This your oldest team member is 10 years.
More.
More.
Yeah. No, we have people. King is I think now 19 years, and then we have people like Robert, which is 16 years, and we have many people who are with us for more than 10 years. Yeah.
What's the secret of having such a loyal team members? And retaining the teams.
Maybe you should ask them. Yeah, but no, I think we have. I think the vision and mission and purpose. I think this is something which is really important for us. And I think everybody's looking for purpose in their job. Yeah, and for us, as I said, I would say it's easier because we're trying to help people to get in the sport we love so much. We rather feel we are friends to our customers, and we want to be really friendly and supportive, and we're kind of a success manager for our customers. And we're trying to make sure that they really get their best product, and sometimes even pushing them to buy something. Yeah. And maybe we remember the days when you were going from aluminium to carbon, and you think, oh, is it really worth it? And we said, no, go for it. You will appreciate it. And sometimes it's interesting. Maybe when we would have sold you let's say a cheaper bike or something on an entry level base, or with lower quality components and so on, and maybe something you would have felt at that part of your journey a bit more comfortable to spend, but say, no, go for it. And we push people, and we know we can push them because we had done this 100 times and it worked 100 times, or it worked 99 times. And we say, we're comfortable to push people to say, no, go for that. You will enjoy it more. And this will enable you to really get to that next level in cycling, and again to the next level in cycling. And if we would sometimes take the easy path of not helping them in the correct way, then we wouldn't have that feedback. And that feedback, I think, is what the team is really striving of, because we have so many people coming back. I would say almost every day we have customers coming back to the store and giving us praise or thanking us for the efforts we put in and results we have achieved for them in their mental and physical health, and for the communities we have built. And I had several times women coming to the store, and they asked, oh, who's Wolfi? And I said, yeah, it's me. Hello, how can I help? And they said, oh, you saved our marriage. And I said, okay, I didn't know I'm in marriage counseling. But I said, no, listen, it made a big impact on our relationship with my husband, because we came a couple of years back. He built a career. He was working a lot, and he was stressed. He had no friends, and he was just not the same person when we came to Dubai. And it was really, really tough. And since a few months, he's on this bicycle thingy, and he's riding, and he made some friends, and he lost some weight, and he's out in the morning. He structures his life, and we're together again. And I thought, oh, that's an amazing story, and thanks for sharing this. And I had it now several times that we had made this change in people's lives, and I think that's rewarding. That's why I get to work, and every day I need to touch someone and get in contact with someone in order to make their life a little better.
Has it ever been times, I'm sure there must have been times at Wolfi's bike shop when sales must be ultra low, and you have to, you are into responsible selling, just like you described now.
Yes.
But when there's times when business needs the funds, how do you manage, what strategies or actions do you take to turn things around and to improve your sales?
I think customer focus is always a priority for us. I think it's really important that we get as well the right products. That's where it starts. It actually starts way earlier, before the customer comes to the store. So really having collected and curated the brands, which are now over 65 brands we're representing in the Middle East, and really looking at the brand like Scott, Swiss product, really well engineered, Swiss qualities all the way through, Cervelo, Colnago, Italian heritage, fantastic brand. And all of these things, we get to the store, we look at them very carefully. We really see, before we bring anything to Wolfi's, it's carefully selected. And then we can speak to the customer and say, listen, here you get the best of the best, you get the best selection available in the world, and we have everything for you already in the store. And I think that was always the key. Yes, times are tough, and especially after COVID, the cycling industry went, first of all, it was a super high demand. Everybody was buying bikes, and the industry couldn't really fulfill all the demands, keep up with the demand. And then there was the law of undersupply. First of all, everybody was buying. Then people placed a lot of orders, and again orders, and more orders. And then on top, they doubled the orders again. And then slowly but surely the market regulated. And then these orders were coming in and were coming late, because some products were just not produced. And sometimes saddles were missing, sometimes tires were missing, sometimes shifters were missing. So a lot of our orders we placed came a little late. And I have to say that the market itself is quite under pressure right now. I think we are in the UAE always a bit in a separate market, in a different market. And we as Wolfi's as well, we are a healthy company. But if the market is in trouble worldwide, I think you will always feel it. And it's never good for a market. I mean, a wave in a market and too steep up and too steep down in a market is never really good for for us as a business. But yeah, I think we got through some tough times, and we will get through this as well. But again, we were thinking about different strategies and thinking about getting other products into the market and getting products which are maybe lower price and maybe faster to consume. But we feel like that people come for us for advice, and if we feel that the product we would sell them was not meeting our own requirements and our own standards, I think we would not be correct and would be comfortable with ourselves. And I think our own integrity would be challenged. I think we never, as long as I'm in the leadership of the company, we will never go away from that. We are here to help people in the best possible way, and that means the correct selection, and sometimes maybe a bit of a controversial conversation with the customer, but education and really helping them and make sure that we meet the demands, and maybe we can foresee the demands of the customer, not selling him something he's comfortable now. We want to make them comfortable in a few months and weeks, and then they spend the money only once. And we will, with the events company, with the rights we do weekly, we're not only selling you a product, we are as well giving you the opportunity to grow. We have a Woman Moving Forward with our partners from Abu Dhabi. We have our weekly rides with Wolfi's on several days a week, and we have the mountain bike rides, and we have everything. We're really trying to cater for people and take them by their hand and not only sell them a bike, we want to sell them the lifestyle and want to make them use the bike. And then we are sure that the investment was the correct way.
The community element of the sport,
yes,
which is helping drive the business as well.
Yes,
in a way.
And that's something very important. Hence the investment into the events company. We looked around and we said, okay, how do we make sure that there's enough quality events which are managed well? And we found a good partner who was already doing this. Today is actually their 10th anniversary. And we invested into the company because we felt similar to Wolfi's. It's sometimes difficult to grow when you're alone in a market. And we said, okay, we help them and we go in a partnership. There's an amazing team doing amazing events. And that's as well as something beautiful. We had a Fab Cycling Festival for 3 weeks in Abu Dhabi on Hudayrat Island. And we reached thousands of new people coming to the sport. And we had our Wolfi Cycling Academy giving free classes to children. And it was just amazing to see children for the first time riding their bike and the parents all happy, smiling, and the kids coming back. The sense of achievement of when you first time are able to ride your bike and get to know all of the cycling community and see this as a real opportunity to get into the sport was fantastic. So I really enjoyed that.
You recently sold a substantial part of Wolfi's bike shop. Did you always have an exit strategy? And how has this, are you still involved in the business? And how has this exit changed your life?
Mm-hmm. No, I never really had the plan. Obviously, you're building a business, but I never thought that this moment will come. And I remember 2020 in January, I got a call from the royal family in Abu Dhabi. And they said, whenever we sit in the majlis, whenever we talk about cycling, and obviously His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon is a big cycling fan himself, and he's a very keen and a very good cyclist himself. He is behind the Team UAE Emirates, he's behind Colnago, he's behind My-Wush and a lot of other activities, the Team ADQ, which is the female equivalent to Team UAE Emirates, and obviously a visionary leader of the UAE, and he thought that expanding the sport and expanding cycling, our name came up, and he said every time the name comes up, and then I got a call, said, okay, we want to partner with you, we want to help you, how can we help? And how can we grow your business? And then the offer came to say we want to partner, and obviously that's an entrepreneur's dream. I have a partner like His Highness and the business structure behind him, then COVID hit us, so it was challenging at the time to communicate everything like this. And in 2021, we sold a share of the company, and it was really the best decision we could have done. Almost like my first bike when I bought my first bike. And it was not easy because, as I mentioned before, I have a daughter. She's now 26 and she's working in the business, and my wife. I always felt like the business was like another child. Yeah. It's another family member because we are there. My wife is working every day in the shop. My daughter is now working, and it was difficult. I thought, it's like my son. Yeah. And when we had these conversations, I remember that I said, it's tough. If I get my son to get married with someone, and I said, yeah, if you want to get your son married, we're the prettiest bride in the Middle East, so you should get married with us. And I think it showed the spirit of the relationship. It's not a business relationship. I think it's a relationship built on passion for the sport, and I think that was very important for me. that the business partner is not somebody simply an investment company looking for the profits out of the business. It's really to grow the business, and we've really seen this clear vision of the leadership to get more people into sports, because they feel when they ride themselves, they feel very special. And I think developing the sport will change the landscape and the fitness and the mental and physical well-being of the people in the UAE. And that's really a clear agenda of the leadership of the UAE. And I think they have been extremely successful already. But I can tell you the plans we have for the future are very exciting. And you see, they've just announced again cycle tracks all around the UAE. Yeah. So I think there's lots and lots to come. And I think I'm really happy to be to play my small role in this big vision of the leadership of the UAE.
You're still involved in the business.
Yes. I'm a shareholder, CEO of the company, and helping my team as good as I can. But I said actually today to my team, we have Thursday our management meeting, and now I was a few days in Spain, and I said, I kind of get used to staying away. And I said, okay, what was it where I was really needed in the business? Because I think that's important to make myself not needed anymore in the business. Yeah, not that I want to stop it, but I think I want to encourage my team to make decisions. And when I'm not there, and I'm not as easy to access to ask for a decision, and they make decisions themselves. I have a good team, and they're really good with everything what they're doing. But I thought, okay, was there during the 10 days I wasn't there, did you make decisions and you were comfortable with it? And if not, how can I help you to get comfortable with these decisions that you don't need me? Because I think you're all grown up men and women to make these decisions and lead yourself and lead the team and hopefully to make myself
redundant
maybe one day, and then I can take my wife to the beach. So maybe another promise I'm giving now to take her to places and enjoy and maybe do something different. I think I've done not different in cycling, and the things I learned, I want to maybe make use of it in different ways. But no real firm plans yet. Sometimes life brings you things and you deal with it as they come. But I still enjoy every day to go to work. And sometimes people say, listen, now you've sold the company and with all this, and you have the opportunity to stop working. And I said, okay, but why would I stop working if you don't really feel you have to go to work? It's just a passion it's driving you, and you see the impact you have every day to your team. And I'm obviously with 140, 150 staff. That means we are kind of responsible for maybe 1,000 people. Yeah, when you see all the families. Yeah. And all the salaries we have to create and the business, it's quite something. Yeah, we have so many people working, so the responsibility of making sure that enough profit is generated that you can pay everyone, and then, but again, the impact you have to for so many families and families behind them and the kids and everybody to make a living and create something where people can strive and hopefully work in a good environment and live their passion and live their dream. I think it's a privilege, and I really enjoy it that I can give it to them.
After this exit, how has your life changed?
Not much, really. I mean, I think we sold at a very, very good time when the business was doing extremely well. COVID was there, and the market was really strong. The market has slowed down to a certain extent, and we are trying to with all the activations we're doing, we are recovering. I think the expansion obviously brings its own challenges, because before I was directly involved in one location with every team member. I saw everyone every day, and I had contact with all of them. And now having people in Elaine and Al Khonish and in Hudayrat, sometimes it's not as easy. And I wish sometimes I could clone myself and be in different locations. Not because I just want to be there for them and help them. From a life's perspective, no, we're working hard. We're working still the same passion. It's sometimes nice to have a partner on your side. You have somebody who's so visionary and as well, I think has a vision beyond my own vision, and takes us even further in a really kind of a challenging environment as well, and in a positive way, to say, listen, dream big and see what we can do and open other places and how can we reach more people, and the school project and the events company. All of the things are a little easier once you have a strong partner like we have now on our side.
Yeah. When was the time you felt like I made it? When was that moment that happened? You felt, yes, I've done
interesting. I actually thought about this many times, and I can't really pinpoint a moment. I think I'm always driven, and I would never feel I made it. You know, when we have our performance reviews and it's a 1 to 5, and when people say, "Where are you now?" and I said, "I'm a 2.8," and I'm not there yet. I think we have so many things
Not
to
even
do.
3.
No. I feel like no, I'm not meeting my expectations. So 3 is meeting expectations, and I said no, I'm not meeting. I feel I can do more and I can do better, and I feel every time I see something, which is a good thing. Maybe I think it's sometimes challenging for my team because I'm always in that improvement mode and always looking for to make things better. And I think that can be challenging sometimes for the team. But at the same time, we have pushed levels, and I think always when GCN, which is a very famous YouTube channel, and they came for cycling and for all this, and they came to our store in Abu Dhabi, and they said, they asked the question, is this really the best bike shop in the world? And you know, when I celebrated for a short moment because they were really full of praise for the store and for the high performance center and so on. But you know, when I had this for a few seconds, I had praise, and then I felt, oh my God. Now everyone who sees this article, and there were hundreds of thousands of people who saw it, every time they walk now into that store,
they expect the best things happen. Yeah.
Yes, they expect the best things to happen. And how can we make sure that we don't disappoint the people? And I think that's again my pleasing nature, my hospitality nature. I think, okay, how can we make it special? And I was just speaking, we had our retail meeting this afternoon, and I spoke to the team and I said, okay, how can we really go back? Let's go back to the drawing board again. Let's really look at the situation when somebody drops off its bike for service. Is this really good? Can we not go back and can we not make this better? Can we not make it easier? Can we not making parking a bit more accessible? And we're working on parking in front of the shop. And can we make it a bit easier for people? And can we make the booking process a bit easier? Can we make it a bit faster? Can we make the communication a bit easier? And all of these things, I think it's always going a step forward and then going a step back and seeing where are you really? What is the competition? And not so much the competition in cycling. We have some really good bicycle shops here as well in the UAE and around the world. But I think it's the competition is for me always luxury retail. Hospitality is still an inspiration for me. Going to good hotels, going to good restaurants, going in a good retail store and having this experience. We just went to Spain and we visited a few retail stores there, and then you have these amazing experiences where really people, you feel like they really truly care, that you walk away with the best possible options, and they're kind, the whole environment in the store is good. Or when you walk into a hotel and you walk into a good hotel, I think the moment you feel like you're home and they really look after everything, I think that's what we're striving. And I think that's where we always need to go back and challenge ourselves and see how we can make it really better and not feeling we have accomplished it. That's why the 2.7, 2.8 comes in, because I think there's way more we can do. And we need to reinvent ourselves every so often.
You have literally done a lot of work to build the cycling community in this region in UAE. How does that make you feel?
It's good. You know, it's good. And it's always good. We have birthdays, you have end of the year, you have certain milestones in your life when you turn 40, when you turn 50, and you look back. And sometimes it's just when I'm on a ride and I see people, and I'm riding in Medan and I'm seeing people riding their bikes. So I go to DX Bike and I'm having a moment, have a coffee this morning, and seeing how many people are on the cycle track. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. Yeah, and I think, you know, when you can, sometimes you can push hard and you're not going to get the result. And again, I have to thank the leadership of the country to help us and to create all these amazing facilities. I have to thank my wife, my daughter, my team. I know that without them, it wouldn't have been possible. I have to thank my customers. And I say again to my team every day, we have a bell at the door, and I said, this is like my heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And if the door wouldn't close anymore, we can be the best. We can be the best products. We can have the best product. We can have the best service. But if this door will not open and close, and customers will come to see us, and we need to make sure that we appreciate the customers when they come to the store, and we make them feel we appreciate them when they come to the store, and really give our best. And that's a good thing.
What one advice do you have for business owners or entrepreneurs who are aspiring to achieve what you've achieved with Wolfi's Bike Shop? I
think you have to be disciplined. You need to analyze the market. I think it's good if you find something which you're passionate about, but I think discipline is a big thing, and doing the things and really doing the work. Yeah, I said we were just talking again in the meeting. I said, okay, it's good to read about push-ups and read a book about push-ups, but at the end you have to do the push-ups in order to have the gains. Yes, and experience the pain maybe as well when you do them, when you do a few more and you have your pain in your muscles and so on. So I think going at it and staying on it and reflecting and have your own integrity and asking yourself, are you really giving 100% when you're doing it? That's an important thing. But I think as well, doing some research and analyzing the market, are you really on the right track? And then keep pursuing your business, and hopefully you find something where you make an impact to the community and so on. But yeah, it's not so easy. But again, if it would be easy, not many people would do it. So I think you need to have a certain mindset. And again, I think coming back to discipline, this is maybe the key thing. You need to be disciplined in your life. I think it helps for sure when you find a sport to structure your life and sleep well, eat well, exercise. Hopefully find a partner who's supporting you in life. I think that's important.
And get into cycling and head to Wolfi's
for
the first bike.
Very good. Very good. Then you surround yourself with, I think, like-minded and inspiring people. I think that's important as well. Get a community you feel who is taking you to the next level. And I think you will find them in cycling. Yeah, so that's a good tip to get into cycling.
Thank you so much. It was lovely having you. I truly enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And I'll see you on the bike.
I'll see you on the bike too. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation as well. You know, life is just like cycling. As Mr. Wolfi said, you take turn and it's sometimes steep and it gets steeper, but you keep pedaling. And that's going to make you strong. Until next time. See you in the next episode.